And I call the member for Gilmore.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, I would like to ask the Minister about the ways the budget supports vulnerable people in my electorate. I am really pleased about the Albanese Government's commitment to make women's safety a national priority. The prevention of domestic violence and support for local women and children who are experiencing domestic violence is a key concern in my electorate of Gilmore on the New South Wales South Coast. The problem is being deeply exacerbated by the housing crisis, all too often leaving women with no other choice but to stay with violent partners because they just cannot find another home to go to. Women and children are struggling to access services and being left in harm's way in the process. I want to share a couple of these heartbreaking stories. I won't use names, but their stories are powerful nonetheless. This email I received just yesterday from a local Shoalhaven woman, and my office is looking at how we can support her. She said, and I quote, "I am making contact with you knowing your much respected interest in helping women of domestic violence in the Shoalhaven. I am your key demographic on this matter, and my family and I have experienced the depths of this over many years, now ending up us with being homeless despite the assistance so far from services. The housing crisis has hit us hard, and we have been disadvantaged by every loophole we have found along the way in a system that desperately needs looking at." And another from last month, and I quote, "I recently moved back to the Shoalhaven after leaving Sydney to escape domestic violence with my 2 young children and am 19 weeks pregnant. I'm currently staying with family, but am trying to secure a rental before my baby is born. I have applied for no less than 30 houses that are within my price range in the past 6 weeks. I have been informed by a real estate agent that my applications are getting denied because I am being honest that I have fled domestic violence." She says, how are women supposed to leave without support for their families or with housing? I was relieved to help this mother find some housing, but she says we need more local support for people fleeing domestic violence, and I agree. Too many women cannot get the support they need when they reach out for help due to funding and staffing shortages in shelters and crisis centres. But this budget invests $1.7 billion in women's safety. The budget delivers substantial funding for prevention, early intervention and response initiatives to address family, domestic and sexual violence. This includes $39.6 million this financial year to meet increased demand for the Escaping Violence payment. We are also delivering 500 additional frontline service and community workers supporting women and children experiencing family, domestic and sexual violence. Half of these jobs will be in rural, regional and remote areas, and I know the Shoalhaven will have some of these places prioritised in our community. This will go some way to addressing the issues that young mum raised with me. It's a huge job, but we are making a start because local women and children can't afford to wait. Deputy Speaker, I'm proud that the Albanese Government is improving outcomes for the 4.4 million Australians with a disability. I recently met with Wade from Berry. Wade is a local institution. He runs Rekindle Me, working with local businesses to take and reuse e-waste. He will recycle anything with a cord and recycled over 6 tonnes of materials in just 3 months. How amazing is that? All of this is made even more amazing by the fact that Wade lives with a disability, experiencing mobility issues amongst other things. But Wade doesn't let that stop him. I'm delighted that this budget is working to support local people with a disability, including investing $19.4 million to extend the disability employment services for another 2 years, while innovative work is undertaken to build an improved model for disability employment. The budget also provides $32.3 million to build up to 400 new changing places toilets for people with high support needs. This week, I welcomed Annette Pham to Parliament House. One of Annette's many hats is as a mum and disability advocate. Annette has fought long and hard for changing places amenities, and this week I got to show her the fruits of her fight here in Parliament House. It was a great moment. Thank you to Annette and everyone who fights to improve the lives of people living with a disability. My question to the Minister is, in addition to these measures that boost the safety, security and equality for Australian people, what other supports for vulnerable communities does this budget deliver?